In other words, the identifiers used in the ballot design were clear and not confusing to voters. This survey further indicates that 96% was satisfied with the secrecy of the ballot, whilst 93% were satisfied with the safety and security at voting stations, and 84% expressed confidence in the accuracy of the counting and tallying processes. Most importantly, 95% experienced the elections as being free and fair. Most importantly, 95% experienced the election as having been free and fair. I thought that deserves an applause. We are glad that this survey found that 93% of voters commended the Commission's effort to mitigate the risk of COVID-19 at voting stations. On the whole, voters are saying their lived experience, their lived electoral reality is positive and consistent with their expectations of integrity standards in the voting process. This election was as much about participation as it was about the introduction of digital solutions in the electoral process. The use of the voter management devices catapulted electoral management in our country to new heights. No doubt, operational challenges were encountered. Yet, despite that, 2021 municipal elections were the most technologically advanced ever held in the country. The Commission deployed 30,387 voter management devices, which were centrally connected through an access point network. This digital connection enabled the strengthening of controls in the voting process. Once ballots were issued to the voter, they could not present themselves at another station without detection. The use of these VMDs in the voting stations enabled a live and centrally connected voters' roll. This capability will decisively lay to rest allegations of double voting. With the VMD, possibilities abound. The prospect of building additional engines and reports will enable the real-time monitoring of the quantities of ballot papers issued and on hand at each voting station. This will remedy reports of voting stations running out of ballot papers. Therefore, the introduction of VMDs can only serve to fortify controls and enhance capability to manage the voting process efficiently. The challenges of the moment as we experience them should not cloud our desire to exploit digital technology to better our electoral engagement. We dare not retard the progress we have made. To the members of the Commission, I say thank you for your guidance and understanding. The mandate you are constitutionally charged with is no mean feat. There is increasing complexity in the electoral landscape, but your fortitude in navigating that space has brought us to the point where you are able to declare the election results, and we say thank you to you. It would be a profound error if I did not acknowledge the contribution made by varied elections management practitioners who made this election possible. My colleagues in ESCO, the Management Committee, and all staff of the Commission at all levels have not known sleep since the 3rd of September. We collectively had to put together a registration weekend, opening 23,000 registration stations literally in 2 weeks. We had an option to take the easy route of dispensing with the registration weekend. Yet we decided on an onerous task because it enfranchised our fellow compatriots. As if that was not hard enough, the election timetable activities had to be conducted in 42 days. I say to you, when your country needed you, you answered the call of national duty. Without your selfless application, this electoral engagement of our citizens would not have been possible. Ke a leboga.
Thank you very much, Tsepo. CEO, thank you very much. And especially for accounting on the sleep deficit. I'm sure that one day some smart person is going to find a way of calculating just the amount of years that you lose when you run an election. But here we are standing. We are smiling, and that negative energy that we feel, we always try and keep behind the blue curtain. Thank you very much, CEO. I'd like you to give him this is just about the only time when you can give the CEO a clap. Thank you. I know he's blushing, but never mind. We can figure that out in Election House. At this point in time, I'd like to invite the chairperson of the Electoral Commission, Mr. Glenn Mashinini, to give his report, his words to the country and to the friends of the country. Chairperson?
Thank you, Program Director, Dr. Masugu. It's indeed a very difficult task to stand before all of you in the nation and give account of the enormous responsibility that is entrusted in this team of commissioners for this nation. Your Excellency, President Cyril Ramaphosa, the Speaker of Parliament, Madam Ngagula, all ministers present and members of the Cabinet Interministerial Committee on Elections present here, Deputy Ministers, Director Generals, heads of our state institutions, and in particular, heads of the security cluster, honorable leaders of and representatives of all political parties and contestants present here, the representatives of the UNDP, chairpersons of all Chapter 9 and 10 institutions with us, members of the Diplomatic Corps present here, our esteemed domestic and continental observers that are with us, the leaders of the House of Traditional Leaders, and all the NGOs and faith-based organization present here with us, my fellow commissioners, the Vice Chair, Janet Love, Commissioner Miepia, Judge Pillay, and Dr. Masugu, our Chief Electoral Officer, Mr. Mamabulo, his ex-co, and his senior managers, and all our provincial electoral officers throughout the country, members of the staff of the Electoral Commission, members of the Fourth Estate media, but also the founder, commissioner, and subsequently the former chairperson of the Electoral Commission, Dr. Prigalia Bam, who has managed to come and grace us. I think we should take a minute and give an applause. His Excellency, President of the Republic of South Africa, fellow compatriots, the 2021 municipal elections, as already we've received the account from our CEO, indeed tested us as a nation in many ways. The Electoral Commission itself, the political parties, independent candidates, the voters were all faced with a number of challenges during these elections. Just to name but a few. Among them, this is taken place under the COVID pandemic. The truncated time frame that the elections had to be conducted instead of 86 prescribed days and having to do it in 42 days. The bad weather, which is still threatening us even today, our power interruptions, and logistics challenges and glitches that we face. But despite all of these challenges, esteemed guests, we achieved our innovative objectives of taking our electoral system to the next level of automation through the introduction of the VMD device, and which has put paid to the possibility that there could ever be allegations of double voting and therefore discrediting the credibility of the election. That, ladies and gentlemen, is the major accomplishment that we have done. The fact that we are here today, having delivered these elections, is an achievement that we as a nation should be proud of. Our thriving, vibrant, and maturing constitutional democracy has indeed withstood the test thrown at it during these elections. The Commission, this preeminent independent electoral institution, is proud that it is still flying high the banner of electoral integrity, excellence, as well as free and fair elections. And for that, we are indebted and grateful to all our staff members throughout the country and many South Africans who work in the various roles throughout the country. The Interministerial Committee that was set up by the Cabinet to provide all the support of the various state institutions, agencies, including the security cluster, and the political contestants that were involved, as well as all our social partners that were involved. That's who we are indebted to. Distinguished guests, in terms of the Section 190 of the Constitution of the Republic of South Africa, the mandate of the Commission is to compile and maintain a voter's roll. It is to manage elections of national, provincial, and municipal legislative bodies, as well as to ensure that those elections are indeed free and fair, and ultimately to declare the results of those elections, which is the purpose of us gathering here today. It is therefore my singular honor to stand before you and announce the results of these elections, which are determined in terms of Section 64(1)(b) of the Municipal Electoral Act. And in that, the Commission's role is to satisfy itself that conditions for free and fair elections were met in all these elections. And among the factors which the Commission must consider in declaring an election free and fair is whether the election regulations, laws, and agreed processes and procedures are followed. And further, to make sure where irregularities and breaches did occur, what impact this had on the outcomes of the elections. Excuse me. We, as the Commission, are satisfied that bar a few glitches or incidences for which we deeply apologize, we have delivered quality elections. The Commission is happy to report that our unique political party liaison committee system is in fact very effective and working. It is through this system that we were able to catch an electoral officer who had transgressed our electoral laws by stuffing ballots into a box. And it is because of the vigilance of the party agents and members of the PLC that the stuffed ballot box, as well as the mishandling of used ballot boxes, were exposed. We also wish to report that the Commission received and cleared 290 objections after investigations and its deliberations. The Commission is pleased to announce that it has satisfied itself that the conditions for free and fair elections were met and that the results for 213 councils are declared as final. And distinguished guests, there were 26.1 million voters registered for these elections, and approximately 370,000 were registered in the pre-approved MEC 7 list. A total of 12.3 million South Africans voted in these elections. And it is my honor once again to provide the country with the national overview of the outcome of these elections. In terms of the 213 municipalities that were contested, the African National Congress achieved a majority of 161 municipalities. And the Democratic Alliance achieved a majority of 13 municipalities. And the Inkatha Freedom Party achieved a majority in 10 municipalities. And in 66 municipalities, no party achieved a majority, which are now deemed as hung councils. And in the 8 contested metropolitan councils, the top 3 parties are in the Buffalo City, the ANC with a 59.3%, and the DA with a 19.52%, and the EFF with 12.6%. And we'll proceed to the city of Cape Town. The city of Cape Town, the DA got 58.2%. And the ANC got 18.63%. And the EFF got 4.13%. Eguruleni, the ANC got 38.19%, and the DA got 28.72%, and the EFF got 13.57%. In the Tegwini municipality, the ANC got 42.02%, the DA got 25.62%, and the EFF got 48%. And in the city of Johannesburg, the ANC got 33.6%, and the DA got 26.47%, and Action SA got 16.05%. And proceeding to Mangaung, the ANC got 50.63%, the DA got 25.73%, and the EFF got 11.31%. And in Nelson Mandela Bay, the DA got 39.92%, the ANC got 39.43%, and the EFF got 6.4%. And in the city of Tshwane, the ANC got 34.31%, the DA got 32.34%, and the EFF got 10.62%. In conclusion, we congratulate the 10,461 councillors who have won the right to serve our people. To them, we remind them of the words of wisdom from the great Pan-Africanist revolutionary and thinker, Amilcar Cabral, who said, I quote, "Always bear in mind that the people are not fighting for ideas, for things in anyone's head. They are fighting to win material benefits, to live better and in peace, to see their lives go forward, to guarantee the future of their children," of quote. We urge them to go out and make the lives of our people better. Go out and ensure that our communities develop and live in peace. Go out and, through your honest and ethical work, guarantee the future of our children. We are proud to proclaim to the world that we are still flying high the banner of electoral integrity, excellence, free and fair election in our country. Through these elections, we've sent a resounding message to the world at large that we South Africans remain a beacon of preeminence in the conduct of electoral democracy. And I dare even say, I hope the stock exchange improves the currency tomorrow. It is then my singular honor to hereby declare the 2021 municipal elections concluded as free and fair. I thank you.
Municipal elections. On 1 November, every voice came together in solidarity to shape our communities. That's why the Electoral Commission would like to say thank you to all South Africans that made time to make their voices heard.
Give them another round of applause for me, won't you? Thank you very much. At this moment, may I invite the head of state, His Excellency, the President of the Republic of South Africa, to please come and give his remarks. Mr. President, I hope you can untangle yourself. Thank you.
Program Director, the Chairperson of the IEC, Commissioner Glenn Mashinini, Deputy Chairperson of the IEC, Ms. Janet Love, the other IEC Commissioners, the Chief Electoral Officer, Mr. Sai Mamabolo, and your EXCO members, the Speaker of the National Assembly, Ms. Nosiviwe Mapisa-Nqakula, Deputy Speaker of the National Assembly, Mr. Lechisa Tsenodi, members of the judiciary who are here with us, the leaders of Chapter 9 institutions, traditional leaders who are also here with us, and as previously stated, Ms. Brigelia Bam, leaders of political parties, members of the diplomatic corps, and fellow South Africans. In a month's time, we will mark 25 years since the signing into law of our democratic constitution. Its founding values of democracy, human dignity, the advancement of human rights, and the achievement of equality have been our guide for a quarter of a century. Tonight, we mark another milestone in the advancement of our democracy. These local government elections were conducted and contested by a record 325 political parties and nearly 95,000 candidates, of whom over 1,500 were independent candidates. In the run-up to the election day, we have seen images of parties and candidates everywhere, on the billboards of our country, on street poles, in social media, all making a case for why they should get the vote of the people of South Africa. This is a sign that multi-party politics is flourishing in our country, South Africa, and that any South African, and indeed everyone, has an equal chance and opportunity to run for public office. This enriches our democracy and in many ways also enriches us as a people. It also advances openness and transparency. It affirms that we are a diverse and tolerant society. It affirms the principle that leaders must be chosen by the people and that leaders should also be accountable to the people who choose them. I would like, on behalf of the people of South Africa, to thank the 12 million South Africans who cast their ballots in this election. By performing this important civic duty, you have contributed to strengthening and consolidating our democracy. And I'd like to congratulate all South Africans for holding an election that was peaceful, free and fair, as also confirmed by our Independent Electoral Commission. And I'm sure Chairperson Mashinini, what you have declared as a free and fair election has in many ways also been confirmed by the many observers who were observing our election, both here and abroad, through various means, virtual and otherwise. Through the participation of our people in this election, we can definitely say that the people have spoken, and we thank South Africans for speaking out through this election. Those in whom the people have placed their trust, the elected councillors, now need to get down to work. Over the past few weeks, we have all spent time with South Africans from all walks of life, meeting them in the streets and being invited into their homes, meeting in the pathways of our villages, in transport modes and vehicles. They told us about their need for houses, of the frustration of electricity cuts, of feeling unsafe because of crime, and also of being despondent after years of not working. At the same time, many have also told us about some of the good work that municipalities, supported by dedicated councillors, are doing in their communities. They've also told us of infrastructure that has been built in the poorest areas and also of essential services that were being delivered. They also gave us advice on how we can do things a lot better. Listening to them, I was reminded how important it is that those in positions of responsibility enjoy the confidence of the people of South Africa. The people of South Africa want their lives improved. They want better services. They want their representatives to be responsive and also to be accountable. They want to live in a better South Africa with equal opportunity, where their rights are realized and where they are treated with dignity and respect. Local government must be a force for good for development and for progress. If we are to make this a new and better era, we as leaders must put aside our differences and work together in a spirit of partnership and common purpose. I'd like to repeat that. I would like to repeat this because the manner in which our people spoke should be indicative of their will and wish to have us as leaders working together. I want to repeat it and say once again, if we are to make this a new and better era, we as leaders must put aside our differences and work together in a spirit of partnership, of cooperation, of collaboration, and common purpose in the interests of the people of South Africa. At the end of the day, my fellow compatriots, we all want the same thing: to better the lives of the South African people. We need to strengthen the trust between citizens and elected representatives through competence, through integrity, performance, and delivery. public representatives need to be more visible. They also need to be more active in our communities. They need to focus on implementation and make the people of South Africa partners in development and in bettering their lives. Above all, they need to listen to the communities that they serve. I would like to thank all those people who have contributed to the success of the 2021 local government elections. I want to thank the commissioners, and I thank them on behalf of the people of our country, the commissioners who are seated here. And in fact, I do think we should give them a standing ovation for the wonderful work that they did. No, you don't need to stand up. You sit down. We are giving you a standing ovation. Sit down. Thank you. As the election was proceeding, I kept imagining how difficult your task was, that you could organize an event on one day where more than 12 million people participated within a set number of hours, and to be able to do so without many glitches. And even as some election box or ballot box disappeared, you've been transparent enough to speak about it publicly and to say, this is what we're going to do. I truly thank you. I don't know how you do it, but we thank you for all the work that you have done. I also want to thank the staff of the IEC who worked tirelessly, yes, without sleep for hours and hours and days, but who work behind the scenes, the people that we never get to see. I'd like to thank them because once again they conducted themselves with professionalism and impartiality. I want to thank the South African Police Service and the South African National Defence Force for ensuring the safety of voters and the integrity of the election process. I also would like to thank the staff of the Department of Home Affairs for processing voters and enabling them to have the correct documentation on voting day. And yes, I would like to thank all the political parties and candidates who stood in this election for their conduct, for their discipline, and their commitment to the people of South Africa. And yes, you too, as political parties, deserve an applause. Please applaud yourselves. I would also like to thank the media. The media were in many ways the heroes and heroines of this election process, for they kept us informed of everything that was happening throughout the election process. Sometimes the media never gets thanked for everything that they write, both wonderful and horrible, about many of us. We never thank you, and today I'd like to thank you for the good, the bad, and the ugly that you wrote about us. And what you also wrote about me. Through your efforts, you were able to keep us all informed, both television, radio, social media, and print. Last week in Cape Town, I received a letter from a young woman called Ruby. And she wrote, "President, I have faith in the leaders of South Africa. I believe that South Africa can take her rightful place in the world and that the dreams of our great leaders can be realized." Close quote. Very young lady. In these difficult times, these words from a young South African truly encourage me. They should encourage all of us. We owe it to Ruby and to the millions of South Africans who dream of a better South Africa to do no less than our very best. We owe it to the millions of South Africans who voted in these elections to bring about the change that they are asking for. Let us turn the promises that we made on the campaign trail into reality. Let us unite for the common purpose of recovery and rebuilding. Let us work as one for a South Africa of equality, freedom, and shared prosperity. Let us keep moving forward. And as new councillors have been elected, let us wish them the very best as they embark on this journey of improving the lives of our people and also improving the lives of our communities. I thank you.
Thank you, Mr. President. Thank you very much. At this point in time, I'd like to invite the Vice Chairperson of the Electoral Commission, Ms. Janet Love, for her remarks.
Thank you, Dr. Masuku, as Program Director. Thank you all for being here. Mr. President of the Republic, honored guests, your presence here really inspires us. Some of you have been mentioned by name, and as those names were being called out, I frantically looked in the audience because your presence here is incredibly important to us. We value your solidarity and your support. But there are a number of other people for whom we owe a great deal of thanks as a commission and also as a nation. I think first and foremost, it has already been said that we owe a great deal of thanks to people who participated, whether those people were candidates, political parties, independent candidates, and all of the party machinery that goes into the very exhausting task of running campaigns. You already raised with us the concerns that you had about those campaigns in very, very difficult times and during very difficult challenges of this COVID pandemic. We salute you for all the work that you've done, and we salute you, as our CEO has already said, for putting yourselves forward to serve this nation. As the Electoral Commission, we really wish to underscore our deep appreciation to various institutions who have worked with us to make our activities possible. We thank our ministers who have participated in the interministerial committee that is convened by the Minister of COGTA, Dr. Dlamini Zuma. We thank her very much for her ever-present responsiveness and understanding of the urgencies of our task. We do thank the Minister of Home Affairs, as we thank also all of the institutions and the leadership of our security services, not just at the national level in terms of our SAPs, our South African National Defence Force and our National Intelligence, but also our Metro Police and our traffic police throughout the country. There were times when that support and those escorts, very late at night, when ballot boxes have to be rolled back to our various warehouses, your presence was really very, very important. We had over 100 organizations accredited as observers. Many of those organizations brought forward thousands of domestic observers. We really cannot express enough how we value that service, because it's an important way in which we can provide additional assurance to our people. Many civil society organizations, faith-based organizations, and traditional leaders worked with us in our preparations in bringing together this extraordinarily difficult and, as you have all heard, very pressurized event. But we have also been able to do this because of some extremely important partners. To our corporate sponsors, Vodacom and Telkom, we thank you. To ESCOM, who have really worked with us in a whole range of ways to cooperate while you simultaneously try to ensure that you manage a whole lot of issues in terms of your own needs. You did come up and step up to really help us in times when we needed you to ensure that the lights remained on. We thank also the SABC, and also, as has already been said, the media as a whole. Your presence and your partnership, including, as has been said, not always your accolades, but your presence here, your questioning. It's a completely vital part of our democracy, and we salute the role that you play. I do want to also express a special word of thanks to Justice Moseneke. His work that he did, his report that he wrote, was incredibly important for the Commission at a time when we were in level 4 of COVID lockdown. And he guided us through many of the difficulties, and particularly he helped us in our partnership with the Department of Health and a range of health experts. And I believe that many of the findings that he made also assisted us and the department to accelerate the rollout of the vaccine, which we hope is a rollout that will continue and that everybody will become part of building our safety and our resilience for a future that also can embrace the challenges that something like a COVID pandemic is going to force us to have to face. We have said, and maybe with not enough applause, that it would appear that 96% of our voters have expressed satisfaction with the service of the Electoral Commission. We are a service organization, and the leadership of the organization, with the Chief Electoral Officer at the helm and his EXCO, but also his provincial electoral officers and the tens of people who have worked for all the hours that they've worked, who are the who have really sacrificed in ways that it's very difficult to explain. There are meetings that I can remember when we were doing the planning, when members of the electoral staff who were critical for that planning came, notwithstanding the fact that they were still on oxygen machines. That is real. There are people who have been battling with the effects of long COVID, who have dragged themselves out of their beds in order to ensure that this event is a success. We salute them as commissioners. You have made this possible. So, in conclusion, I would simply like to say that this is the beginning of hopefully an era where those who now have the leadership, who have been given the democratic mandate to take the leadership, are able to inspire the kind of trust that this mandate doubtless has shown you, and that you continue to grow that trust. To our organization and to our Chief Electoral Officer, huge thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you, Vice Chairperson. And whilst we are doing the thank yous, I'd also like to say thank you to Advocate Lakula, who is in our midst. I happened to see her when I'm seeing that. I'm trying to look to this side so that I don't see her stern look. It's lovely to have you. Thank you. This brings us to the end of our formal program, and please bear with us. Because of COVID, so that we maintain social distancing, I'm going to ask you to be patient and remain in this rather warm room for a little bit longer, whilst I ask the President and his entourage to take leave of us. Mr. President?
Good one.
Thank you, Madam. From me, thank you very much. From the launch of the elections, from everything, to being the wonderful audience that you always are, I thank you very much. I am really out. Take care. I invite Kate to help you navigate your exit, and to go to the real fun part. Take care until next time. Bye-bye.